Alright, let's start over. So YouTube, as promised, I told you I would answer questions on video, but before we get to that, I got my boy here, Ben. He's going to introduce himself, maybe tell a little bit about himself, and then we'll get to answering these questions.
My name is Ben Seraphimus.
He's choking on his
buddies
tuna.
With Vin since we worked out Bally's a little while back. Been watching him grow, been watching him just make huge gains. I mean, since the first time I seen this kid, amazing. But you know, I'm just trying to follow in his footsteps, get on that stage someday.
Yeah, so that's what he's doing. And you'll definitely see more of him in future videos.
This is the nipple.
Yeah, the nipple. I don't care if the nipples are out. Do you guys really care if the nipples are out? I'm alright with nipples being out. It's okay. It is a fitness channel. But anyways, let's get on to these questions. First one comes from Justin. And it's a question I'm sure most of you want to know the answer to. So, appreciate the question. And he wants to know if I still have the heart condition and basically how does it affect training. Well, yeah, I do still have the heart condition and I still will have it until I'm 6 feet under. Yearly I have to go for checkups, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect my training too much. I just kind of monitor it. If I feel like I need to stop training, I'll just stop and go home for the day. Nothing, you know, to overthink there. Second question comes from John. He wants to know about my thoughts on drug use in the sport and will I ever use them. Well, it is bodybuilding, and there's natural bodybuilding and bodybuilding. So, obviously drugs will be used, and I really don't care if you use them. All I say is that if you're going to use them, do them properly. And don't use those bullshit pro hormones, which to me are just like proprietary blends. And also one thing, if you do use them, and you come off of them for 7 years to compete in a natural show, I really don't respect you. So, I advise you don't do that. And will I ever use them? No, probably not, because my goal is to achieve pro status in natural bodybuilding. So, yeah, that answers that. And my muscle building foods he wants to know as well. I'm assuming you want to know about my protein sources because that's virtually what builds muscle. So, yeah, those range from anywhere from like eggs, chicken, shrimp. I had that today actually. You know, tilapia.
How many ounces per meal?
Anything really. Ounces per meal?
Yeah.
It depends. Can range from 6 to 8 ounces mostly. Sometimes 10. It depends if I want to have a little bigger meal. And then I guess I'll list off some carb sources. Those range from anything from like a fucking Pop-Tart to white potato. Like I'll eat anything carb source wise pretty much, as long as it fits in my macros, because if you all know I do, you know, go that way. Yeah, so that's that. Let's see, which other one? Since we're talking about food, might as well answer the question from David, who wanted to know about my diet during contest prep. Well, basically, 4 meals per day, which for me was most optimal. Probably could have had 5 if I wanted to, but I chose 4. They would obviously consist of a lean protein, which for the most part was eggs, ground turkey, chicken, or a fish source, which happened to be tilapia most of the time. Carbs were pretty high in the beginning, slowly tapered off near the end, obviously. Fats were low in the beginning, and those became higher near the end. So, and like I said, the sources of carbs were anything from a Pop-Tart to, you know, sweet potato, oatmeal, white potato, rice.
What's your favorite?
My favorite, I guess, I really enjoy white potato. Yeah. Oatmeal's good. And of course I enjoy the Pop-Tarts or anything, you know, of that nature.
Of course.
Yeah, so you had a question for me. What was your questions? So I can answer them right here, right now.
Just, you know, obviously, anytime you're doing something like this, you're going to have people out there just jealous and just trying to bring your ass down.
Absolutely.
What is the most negative thing you heard during this contest prep you just had?
The most negative thing? Well, I wouldn't really... There's nothing in particular that stands out. It was just more or less the consistent, the repetitive, stupid comments I would hear.
Like, you should do this, you should do that, or...
Just, yeah, that, and then, you know, at work, the ignorant, you know, oh, well, he's got to eat, or, you know, all he does is lifts, or, you know, they don't, you know, it's just the ignorance towards the sport, mainly, and obviously that's going to happen.
Sure.
But the one thing that really annoyed me was the comment I got, hey bro, you're looking real skinny. First off, I'm not fucking skinny.
It's not skinny.
I don't, you know, I weigh, yeah, 165, but I appear to be like 180, 185. So I'd say that's not skinny. I'm not that kid who takes mirror pics with his ribs shown. Like, I have like an 8-pack. Yeah, I do have those genetics, which are nice. And then you said, how do I overcome the haters?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I have haters. I think it's just like a thing I tell myself to motivate me to keep going.
Same here.
And if I do have haters, well, I guess you're just all in denial, so whatever, you know, big deal. We'll move on, and I hope you do too, because, you know, I'm not going anywhere except, you know, pro status. So let's move on to some of the questions from the YouTube video. A couple guys wanted to know about my supplements I'm taking. Let's see, supplements. I'm not a big guy on supplement use, honestly. Right now I'm currently using fish oils, a multivitamin, some creatine daily, and some additional vitamins. I'm using probiotics and some digestive enzymes. Basically, that's all I use. Then I have some whey protein, you know, in case I need it, emergency basis only. Yeah, no pre-workouts, none of that garbage. I really don't. I don't even know what the fuck I want to say. I really don't care for pre-workouts. The stimulants just get to me too much, and yeah, I might use some amino acids here and there, but really don't feel like spending money on supplements. I'd rather eat whole foods. And yeah, that's that.
Strongly advocate Whole Foods. Got to.
What?
I strongly advocate Whole Foods.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whole foods over supplements any day of the week. He also wanted to know why his link to his blog is not in my section. You know, maybe I'll just put it in there now because you're mad. So maybe you'll get that in there next video. I don't know. But if not, maybe you'll get a shout out video. Who knows? Anyways, let's move on. Yeah, we had a two-parter here. He wanted to know what size of the shirt I was wearing in my video that I made. Well, yeah, it's a medium. And could I go a size smaller? Probably not. Probably because I'd rip the fucking shirt. And we don't want to do that. Even though it'd feel pretty cool to do, we're not going to do that. And that's just a little embarrassing. Someone wanted to know what my family's like. I live with my mom and my dad currently. I have a brother. He's younger. Also have a sister who's much older, but she is from a previous marriage of my mother's. You probably don't need to know, but I told you anyway. I have a bunch of family just throughout the whole nation here. Really not going to get too much in depth about it. And then this question is actually a pretty good question here. Basically wants to know my advice to beginners, what they should focus on through my experiences. Basically, focus on what matters, number one. Meaning, establish a diet, with the macro numbers, yada yada. Or just follow the same diet every day if you want. It's up to you. Doesn't matter. Whatever you do, just be consistent. And, you know, however many meals you need to eat per day to reach that calorie amount needed is entirely up to you as well. There's no need to stress about meal timing. Really no need to stress about what source of carb or anything like that you eat, as long as you hit your carb sources. I mean, for me personally, I balance my complex with my simple simply because of, you know, where I work and, you know, my lifestyle outside of the gym. Like, I am busy most of the time. I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. I do work at a pizzeria as well, so, you know, when you're making pizzas, those pepperonis start to smile at you. And if I'm just eating simple sugars all day, like Pop-Tarts and shit, chances are I'm probably going to have a few pepperonis. And those pepperonis are like 90 calories a piece. Really not worth it. Other things to focus on, just go into the gym and work hard. It's really all you can do. If you're going to get more out of going to the gym and at least putting in some type of effort than you will sitting at home
thinking about what you should be doing.
Yeah, thinking about what you should be doing and, you know, just not going because you don't feel like going. Most of the time, those are the best days in the gym. If you just drag your ass there and do something, you'll feel good. Yeah, but really just focus on your diet. Don't worry about supplements. I mean, yeah, you need a couple, but you don't need all the pre-workouts and all that other bullshit. Save your money. Buy your whole foods. Eat your fruits. Eat your veggies. Take a multivitamin. That's all you need to know about your diet. Anything you'd like to share on advice towards a beginner or, you know, someone who's just looking to improve overall, you know, through the lifestyle?
I mean, you made a lot of sense. You just got to be consistent. You have to work hard. I mean, you got to really evaluate what you want to do. I mean, what are your goals? How hard are you willing to work towards those goals? You know what you're, do you know what you're doing? And you know what it's going to take to get there? If you do, then it really becomes kind of a simple thing. I mean, if you want to be a bodybuilder, you got to live that lifestyle, and there's got to be something that just clicks in your head. You just got to understand that, you know, you want to be a professional athlete at something. It's going to take you, you know, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice to get there. It's not just and
a lot of time.
Yeah, a ton of time.
It's going to be, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. That's another thing with beginners is
double your food bill too.
They you know, they start going to the gym for a month and they think,
right,
oh,
gotta
well,
be consistent.
You know, after a month I'm going to have, you know, a six-pack. Maybe. Who knows? I mean, if maybe you're that genetically blessed. I highly doubt it, though. But, yeah, you just got to take time with it, you know. I've been training for like 2.5 years, roughly. And I'm just starting to see the best results now. Like, I mean, for 2 years I didn't see much, and now it's all starting to really piece itself together. And I still have a lot of work to do, but I have goals established, and I'm willing to work to reach those goals.
Gotta work.
So, and that's another thing. If you don't have goals to work towards, you know, I mean, what are you really doing it for then? Other than yourself, which is fine, but it makes it more fun when there's a goal to obtain.
Absolutely.
So, definitely set goals for yourself too. You know, have an ultimate goal, but you need smaller goals, you know, to reach in the meantime. Because you can set high expectations for yourself, but if you don't reach those expectations, you know, you've let yourself down, and then you're going to be in a negative mindset, and you're not going to want to train anymore. You're not going to want to go about the daily lifestyle 365 days out of the year. We got, I think, one more question here. It's actually a few questions in one. My boy Eddie wants to know about my thoughts on the Olympic lifts, which is, you know, nice to know since the Olympics are going on as we speak. Do I utilize them in my training, and how do I feel about them from a bodybuilding and a general fitness perspective? I think the Olympic lifts are great. You could definitely utilize them in your training. I have in the past, but you know, you need some accessory work on the side. Those alone aren't going to, you know.
Not a bodybuilding physique.
Right, yeah. I mean, you can use them as a bodybuilder. There's nothing wrong with it, but you definitely need some, you know, accessory work. Absolutely. Just with any other program. General fitness, I mean, they're great as well. I'm sure the CrossFitters use a lot of them. I would almost like to think they do because, I mean, I wouldn't do CrossFit because I don't think I'm really cut out for it, but from what I've seen, those are some pretty intense athletes who, you know, bust their ass daily. Just like I do, but they're working, you know, for a whole different goal. So, kudos to them, I guess.
Question for you.
All right.
Do you have any more questions? How much
do you have any other
different?
Maybe you want me to...
How much, or what was the difference between your like how you were viewed socially when you were, you know, in the beginning of your diet, when you were, for lack of a better word, fat, as opposed to when you started getting, you know, in shape, really lean? Like
from
what
this
was,
most recent prep?
Yeah, how did people, you know, how did people view you different, like quite different?
Let's see. Well, I mean, they always saw me as athletic because, you know, I always came off with that athletic build.
Right.
But most times I had a shirt on, so they didn't really see what was underneath. But as I started to progress and, you know, lean out and the shreds started coming out, you know, people took notice. And, you know, I felt more comfortable without a shirt on.
Of course, of course.
And, you know, it really didn't bother me. But, you know, they all noticed that I was pretty muscular. But, you know, as I leaned out, obviously it looks even better. So,
of course.
But I don't think the perspective really changed too much. I didn't really notice too much of a change in how people viewed me.